All right, you can see the draft is ready. And, you know, Araki, this seems to be like one of the biggest tests. So I guess we'll see what happens here. Team Queso, Team Secret, both looking for supremacy here in this group. D-Man and Excoundrel taking us to the action.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, we're straight back into it. And this honestly promises to be a cracking game. It really is a game for qualification. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, both these teams with a chance. Team Queso representing the European side, batting out the River Varus to start things off. The Twisted Fate being taken away. We saw Ruiz making use of that earlier on. But it does leave the Galio open. We'll see whether that manages to slip through the net, because that is a strong champion, along with the Zyra Khan, that Queso love to play.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be the Camille. So the Camille does get taken away. Kind of standard bans, but the Varus ban being banned out is somewhat surprising, I think it's safe to say. It has been strong throughout, but this, certainly to my mind, is the first time we're seeing it as a ban to come through. And there is the Galio ban that I did mention. I feel that would have been almost certainly picked. And of course, that leaves Ziggs wide open. Now, will the Ziggs be picked by Ruiz, or will that be Ibu? I feel that probably will be an Ibu pick throughout there, along with Fiora.
Yeah, and I think the pickup is very interesting, because this is very much like what we've seen from Team Secret, copying that DKG style, where they have the Trebor Fiora in the jungle, and then they operate as like a secondary carry in the side lanes, taking down those side lane tier ones. So this is very much like Team Secret jumping and taking the sort of the DKG style again and operating in the same way. But they obviously have given over the Ziggs to Team Queso. Now, by the way, that is more a Ruiz pick than an Ibu pick. You know, we all have seen Ziggs flex the bot more often than not in this competition, but Ruiz is more of the Ziggs player on Team Queso.
The Darius being picked in there. We've seen Acolyte, certainly against the EBG, Ruiz with a big smile on his face. Obviously, we've seen Acolyte in the Darius Renekton setup before, both sides of it actually, but the Braum being left open, picked up, can be very strong. That does usually signify there will be a different AD carry with it rather than alongside the Ziggs.
Yeah, and I think, as I agree, it's not exactly the most insane bot lane combo. But however, you know, Braum picked for the more defensive part of this comp. Like, Braum picked to disengage away from the Fiora, disengage away from the Renekton. Not massively picked. I mean, you never pick Ziggs for a bot lane combo, right? You're picking Ziggs because he can 2v1, he can clear waves, and he unlocks that support to roam. Braum is a very good roaming support. That is going to be the Rakan, though, James as well, playing that roaming captain-like support as well. So he's going to be able to just move away from that bot lane. The only thing is that Corki's not as strong in the 2v1, but he can clear waves easily, so they're probably pretty okay with that, especially post 5, very easy for them to clear waves.
Does leave. I wonder if we're going to see Kaiser once again for Ibu. It is a champion he has favored towards the Draven. That I did not expect.
Draven is wild. That is a very, very interesting pick. It is high risk, high reward. It does combo nicely with the Braum if you can actually get that initial pick. Braum is actually a pretty good answer into Rakan as well. And the fact that they picked that in, and that's the Lee Sin for Andre.
How did we forget that was open?
I forgot that was open. Yeah, I know. They forgot that was open for Andre. Last pick for him. You kick that Renekton or you kick that Rakan out of fights. It's a good disengage tool along with the Braum as well. But I'm going to be honest, it's high risk for Ibu.
Massively. I mean, for the whole team, I think. I feel this is maybe a high risk, maybe a high risk, high reward, who knows? But the Zed against the Ziggs in mid is a fight I certainly want one to do for Ruiz.
Yeah, and that is going to be Tatsuri picking up the Zed as well. This is another really good pick for Tatsuri. And it's a very good way of putting pressure on a Ziggs and a Draven especially. But that's because Draven naturally gets himself into awkward positions in team fights. This is one of the problems with Draven. If you don't snowball with him, the way you play Draven and the way that you catch axes, you naturally put yourself in awkward positions in team fights, and Zed will prey on that. So again, high risk pick here for Ibu. We'll have to see if it works out. Obviously, we have that backup of a very strong late game AP carry in the form of the Ziggs. There's a lot of good tower taking potential here from Team Queso, but I think you can't look at this draft without thinking how risky this bot lane is, and you really feel like resources need to be drawn to the Dragon lane rather than the Baron lane this time round, which we've classically seen in games throughout the Horizon Cup.
Yeah, and obviously Team Secret, they've had a win and a loss so far. Looked a little lost against Thunder Talk, no doubt about it, but picked themselves up a win, whereas Queso obviously very successful against Ebro. Haven't seen, obviously, what's really to come. This, I feel, is the first real test for Queso in the tournament. This is one that could pivot how well they do, whether they get through the groups themselves. Team Secret coming to this one, I would say, as the favorites from the Southeast Asia region. Yes, they weren't the #1 team, but they certainly are nothing to be sniffed at.
Well, I think this is going to be a great test, right, D-Man? This is going to be a test of whether Europe really has what it takes to compete with the big boys. I think that's the way we've got to frame this, because realistically, Team Secret coming from a very strong region. I know SBTC haven't had the best of times, but Team Secret have had some good performances here at the Horizon Cup. And so now it's the test about whether Europe actually has what it takes. Has Europe really leveled up to the point where they can maybe stand on a level with SEA and China and now even Korea too? This will be the test, this first game especially. And the fact that they're so confident to pick Draven here as well, D-Man, shows you that Team Queso are coming into this very bold, very brazen. They're not worried.
Yeah, and I like the Braum was going with it as well. So, Ibu, we'll see what he can do here. This is going to take a little while to build up, I feel. Andre, we know he can do it. He's going to be very happy that he's got Lee Sin through here. And, of course, the Fiora jungle for Trevor is going to be an interesting test. We're going to see a lot relying, I feel, early on Ruiz. Basically surviving, I think, up until the ulti phase. He's going to be under a lot of pressure from Tatsuri. And it does look like Trevor also wants to try and help him out there.
Just trying to get a bit of pressure on the mid. This is something that we see a lot from Fiora junglers, by the way. They start off on the Razor Beaks and then rotate up towards the red and maybe go for a full red side clear. Oh, that is not a good look if you're a Draven player. Did he just get caught in a grand entrance? He's going to have to back.
We didn't see what it started off, but certainly not the ideal yet. And having to back this early on is problematic. We know the Darius can put the pressure down early on against the Renekton. This is a pretty even battle overall. We've seen Acolyte doing very well on both champions, but against Azza will be certainly very different than against Hayes she was on the first day.
I think Acolyte as well is a Darius specialist, right? This is like one of his most played champions throughout the entire European Origin Cup series. We saw him on the first day on Darius. He had an absolutely insane performance. If you are looking for an answer into Renekton, you don't have a better Darius player from Europe to really be able to pivot this pick. But Azar has managed to freeze the wave in a very awkward spot right now. And given that the top Rift Herald is now being taken by Trebor, Acolyte is in an awkward spot. This is a really rough place for you to be as a Baron laner. And I think, unfortunately, just a bit of wave mismanagement. You can see Acolyte going to check whether a Fiora is nearby and doing that Rift Herald.
Yeah, I think he just caught sight of him as well, so realizing the vertical jungling coming out from both Andre as well, so both starting out each other's blue buff. If we putting a little bit of damage down there, getting the support that possibly needs, but yeah, I mean, this is a dangerous lane, I would say, because obviously we know that grand entrance can certainly work out very well, catch out the Draven, and then I mean, you can put the shield up as much as you like, but he's still going to take a lot of punishment before that happens, before he be able to move across and get that stand aside.
This is awful for Acolyte. Look at that huge wave that they've crashed top. And because the jungle has been split vertically right now, Trebor taking away that Gromp. This is so much experience.
What's Andre going to do? He tries to get away. The flash comes through. I think he might be able to escape here. Really good interception from Memorize there to keep him alive.
Oh, Acolyte, he knows he can't give it away, so they're going to flash in on him.
Pulls them both in. You know what? He's happy to try and stand a bag. The fact that he managed to get the Decimate of both gave him that lifesteal that he maybe needs there. Azza also taking a turret hit on the way through, which means this engage will no longer happen. Back down the bot lane, though. Ibu, that's very aggressive to go in for that last hit there, trying to keep Chewy on his guard.
This is not looking good for Queso so far. Every lane under the thumb. Tatsuri obviously hasn't found much edge against Ruiz, but Acolyte down experience-wise massively compared to Azar right here because of how many minions were denied just because Trebor opened up that top side of the map. And that very, very awkward lane management from Acolyte early on meant that he was punished with the freeze. And then Memorize Nibu, they're getting out-traded by a Corki and a Rakan. When you're playing a Braum Draven and you're letting a Corki out-trade you, that's not a good look. And Draven right now, obviously built up stacks, hasn't died. That's the silver lining, but yeah.
They're switching lanes, so Ruiz is going to come down the bot here. I thought they were looking to try and set something up, but instead they're sending the Draven to the mid to try and keep him going in that side. Ruiz just going to be a pain on Hammers there and catch him with a bomb, but quickly answered. Tatsuri comes down, says, yeah, you're not going away from me that easily.
They've made this rotation to allow easy movement out of the mid lane to one of the key objectives on either side of the map. You can see that Tatsuri starts up this dragon. He's going to try and, by himself, stop this dragon from going down, or at least provide enough space for the rest of Team Secret to come and prevent this. You see he goes in.
Nice coverage there from Ibu. Does manage to get away from it. The smite came through, and it was the red team that picked it up. So Team Secret secure in the dragon. Not what Queso were after. Can they get themselves a couple of kills? The package goes through for Chewy. Oh no, Acolyte not catching him there with the Decimate either, and he will have to back away. They got the Rift Herald as well. Everything went the way of Team Secret. So apologies. Queso did secure the dragon.
They did secure the dragon. That was a small win, I feel, D-Man, in what was a very unfortunate sequence of events. And it has been an unfortunate sequence of events for Team Queso all through this game. Their Draven lane has failed to materialize any major advantage. Tatsuri here had an absolute, this is the active replay you can see, Tatsuri jumps in onto Andre, knows his target is the best target for him to focus down. That package as well makes it very awkward for them. Great engage by Hammers, absolutely ludicrous engage from Hammers. And Acolyte almost found his opportunity on Chewy there, but Chewy just able to get away with the flush too. Team Queso being outpaced both on a micro and a macro level right now, and unfortunately they are not living up to the might of this Southeast Asian team.
Yeah, so they tried to road straight. They saw it coming and they tried to set it up early. I think if they'd just taken the dragon down just a little few seconds earlier, it would have turned in their favor. They've been very much ready for that one. That is an interesting gauge. Tatsuri going for it here. He's kind of baited Acolyte into it. Goes for the dunk. Has he got enough to finish it off? I'm not sure if he's got the tick. He has! He gets it. That is huge for Acolyte, who was suffering in the lane.
Yeah, he's still a little bit behind his opposition of Azar, about 600 gold, but you take the scraps when the table is being cleaned. That is a big, big win, at least for Acolyte for the time being. It helps accelerate that build just a little further. Hasn't yet finished up the Black Cleaver, but he has got the gargoyle enchant. I think Memorize might be dead.
He might well be. He gets the Glacial Fissure down. Can they turn this down? The Mega Inferno bomb comes down. That's going to be Trevor in all sorts of trouble. He's going to get caught out. The Draven should just one more team attack. No, not going to happen. Chewy will be picked up though. And well, Queso respond really nicely there. They also take themselves the bot lane turret. And Andre continues pushing. He's putting pressure. The jungler goes in. Oh no, he's gone too deep. And Tatsuri comes out on top.
Andre, what are you doing, man? What was that? What was that, Andre? We don't talk about it. You know, those are the things that we just don't talk about. He didn't even have his kick available. It was a little overzealous, I'd say, from Andre on that tier 2 tower dive onto Tatsuri. And Tatsuri now has a little bit of a clean sweep to go for this bot lane tier 1. Might have given away another turret here. Do we have to look at this again, guys?
I don't understand why he committed for it. Like, you're never going to win.
Where did he even flash?
Yeah, he flashed, got the tower hit. I think he was trying to avoid the tower hit, got the tower hit.
But he flashed into tower range.
Yeah. That went very wrong, Andre.
It did not. It was not.
By the way, just want to point out, Andre, probably the best jungler in Europe, just made that error. It happens to the best of us.
It happens to the best of us, mate. But he is somehow, despite being 0-2, actually ahead in gold of Fiora. So still keeping pace. Obviously, we are now looking for Ibu to cash in on his stacks. That will be a bit of a gold injection for Team Queso. Love this from Team Secret, though.
Run. Gets caught out. And challenge will get away from it. And, well, okay, just a couple of tower hits. The tower survived as well. We expected him to take that tower down. Now he's going to see him going in, and there is a dunk to finish off. And I tell you what, we were talking about getting Acolyte going. That kill that he's managed to get has helped him out no end. Memorize able to dash away from this one, still keep that tower alive.
Yeah, they're going to catch him. I think Memorize might be the The sacrificial lamb here.
Oh,
although I
one
say
tower,
that-
two tower, one more tower hit. Oh, he survives on nothing. Where's the help? Where's the Mega Inferno Bomb? Anything onto Trevor would be enough, but it's not going to be the case, and Memorize falls.
They're going to get the Rift held up here. They won't be able to compete for the Infernal Dragon because the setup is already there for Team Secret.
Oh!
Ibu!
He gave the kill away!
He got it! He got it with the whirling blaze, and now they can't take it because that was their jungler.
Oh, Tatsuri tries to commit and go in for Ruiz, but it's not going to be enough. He gets away. The fight in the mid lane now kicking off as Ibu and Andre arrives there. This fight is living up to its expectation. We knew it was going to be a close one, and now the Inferno Drake should be going the way of Queso.
Abysmal early game from Team Queso, followed by an abysmal mid game from Team Secret. They're both making missteps and both teams punishing. You can see Acolyte, as you mentioned, man of the moment right now, tries to flash to get the final stack onto Azar, but will not be able to do it. And that is a double whammy of two really important objectives picked up for Team Queso.
They're committed. They're not going to work. They commit. They try and go with a package, but I'm not too sure that's what they wanted. The Rift Tower gets thrown down and almost just sort of thrown to the wolves to buy themselves the time to escape. The Mega Inferno Bomb flashed out of by James at the last second there. Oh my word, this game is living on a knife's edge right now. One big fight could turn it in either's favor.
Goodness gracious. Honestly, when the first 3 minutes of this game, 4 minutes of this game, I was thinking this is a Team Secret walkover. They're gonna just crush this. It's gonna be a very easy first victory for them. They made some uncharacteristic errors, and honestly, I'm gonna say Acolyte, despite having one of the Baron laner's worst nightmare start, as a Baron laner, I cannot think of a worse start. The enemy lane freezes against you at level 4, and then the enemy jungle vertical splits. Ruiz has to be a little careful here.
Yeah, they're trying to set up for it, but there is...
Ruiz?
Oh no, the base check, the wall goes down, he's going to get cooked the Grand Challenge. He does have Andre nearby, gets a good kick in there as well, very good kick. Chewy's taken low, will get finished and punished. Can they continue to chase? No, I think they should back out of this one. So in the end, a 1-for-1.
You are seeing the unfortunate consequences of losing your mid lane tier 1 that allows the enemy to make those kind of aggressive plays in the jungle. But luckily, somehow with a great kick from Andre, they're able to recoup back. And that fight really encapsulates the story of the game for me. Team Secret take the first punch, and somehow Team Queso find another one. You can take a look here at the replay again. Nice kick straight onto the Sonic Wave. A huge amount of damage onto Chewy here, and it is again Whirling Death that picks it up for Ibu, gets another stack in cash. He is now 1,000 gold ahead of Chewy on this Draven. So despite a absolutely terrible laning phase from Ibu, he's still making this Draven work.
And despite the fact Lee Sin is 0-2-2, he's at 1,500 gold up over his jungle counterpart Tribble, which is pretty incredible. Here comes Queso once again, the roaming stack looking to deliver. Acolyte also coming to join the party. And this is going to be a fight sort of just, I don't think there's really any reason to engage. There's not really an objective they're going to go for here. I'm confused as to why they're sort of feathering up, trying to get their prowess out and see if they could go for any fight. And realistically, they should back out, and they have backed out. You see Andre just quickly wave clear in the top and sort of backing away, being basically given that carry role almost now.
Acolyte for me has been the story of this game. Like, he, despite having an absolutely abysmal laning phase, like I said, despite getting frozen, vertical jungle split, being down level 3 to level 5, he still found his way patiently back into the game. Many top laners would have felt frustrated and felt that they had to catch that wave under tower, and they had to somehow, you know, find a 2v1 outplay, otherwise the game was doomed for them. But Acolyte was patient, realized that his team would probably have his back, and he's worked his way back into the game slowly. He was at one point about 1,500 gold down on Azar, I think. But he's worked his way back in slowly, and he's now even footing and is providing that front line. He's gone for the dead man's plate route as well. Memorized. And when all that served to do, Hammers, was show that you have a ward there. Because you weren't getting a follow-up, that's for certain.
I mean, he did the basic attack and he sort of backed away, and I think he was just being baited by Memorize there, knowing that Andre was coming in to close the gap. But all the chest thumping aside, we finally get objectives that are worth fighting for, as the Cloud Drake will be coming up in just a second, as well as the the top side. Tatsuri actually putting a lot of pressure down, so he's not in the fight for this one, which is why Queso are looking to try and get that engaged. Memorize desperate to find a good Glacial Fissure, really wants to get involved in this one, but they're just leaving the inhibitor turret. Is getting beaten down by Tatsuri. They have to do something here. They've sent over the Draven. Ibu is there to try and deal with it, and that's a problem because he is important to help them get this straight.
Yeah, they go for the engage.
Getting straight in there. It's going to be Hammers that gets in and out. But there's, again, without Ibu being here, they don't have that consistent damage to keep them alive. Ibu finally gets back to the party, and now Team Queso can turn this back in their favor.
And Tatsuri dead as well. I mean, I think they traded 1-for-1 with Acolyte at the end of the day there. So it is now a 3 versus 4 around the Dragon. They were very close to losing that inhibitor tower. I think they made the correct decision to put Acolyte back towards Tatsuri, otherwise they would have lost that inhibitor. Does look like there's going to be a mid lane shove coming out. But Team Queso do have really good wave clear in the form of that Ziggs. Ruiz has kind of gone under the radar this game, but he has slowly and silently been doing his job as the Ziggs. Somehow Team Queso keeping this game competitive, despite the fact that you have a 12.5k Zed on the enemy team. That is the majority of the gold lead. Let's take a look back at this fight here. So the Gargoyles gets procced, obviously, to sort of prevent as much damage as possible. Tatsuri jumps in, thinks he has the edge. Barrier comes through, and that is a beautiful flash. That would have not been a kill for Acolyte if he hadn't done that flash decimate. That would have been very, very rough for him, but he managed to make it work. And Team Queso, just little micro punches back and forth between some of the best players in their regions. Acolyte definitely doing Europe proud with his Darius right now.
Yeah, and as we approach the 15-minute mark, this is now crucial moments. Andre actually finding out James here, can put some pressure on the support, take away that grand challenge opening, but does manage to get away. That's obviously the bonus of a Rakan. It is incredibly mobile. That ward not being swept out, so that's given a lot of coverage for Team Secret here to go looking for the engage, and that's what they go for. It's Ruiz they've caught out. The Ziggs is just going to get decimated. That's not what they needed, Team Secret. Now, Queso have got to be careful. They don't overcommit to this because it could mean a Baron very quickly for Secret.
Yeah, Secret definitely gearing up for that right now. They're going to clear out those wards. They are going to send down Tatsuri once more to the bottom side of the map here. He is that side lane split push threat. You can just see how many teams are now pushing towards that kind of split push presence of a single player or sometimes 2 players for the 1-3-1 to kind of be that threat in the side lanes. And Tatsuri is that player right now on his Zed. Despite the scoreline not being particularly impressive, he has had it really... Oh, we're going in again.
Top lane. Oh, well, they're going in again, but Andre was actually looking to walk in. Tatsuri! That wasn't even close. Andre realizes he may well have triggered something he didn't want. He has got the GA up as well, so he can keep himself alive, but this is a problem now with that big top laner down. James goes in, yet another great engage. Grand exchange worked out there, waiting for the Glacial Fissure from Memorize, but they don't have Acolyte. It's more of a delay tactic right now, and you can see this time Ruiz has had to go down bot just to keep them towers alive.
He had to, because otherwise Tatsuri was again taking more gold in favor of Team Secret. It is a 3k gold lead right now. Team Secret have now righted the ship a little bit. I think they were struggling in the team fights versus Team Queso. You've got to remember that Team Queso were categorically known as Team Fight Kingdom in Europe. That was the best part of their game, the way they function in these late game team fights. And Team Secret have been losing out a little bit in those smaller skirmishes and team fights right now. They are using Tatsuri's influence in the side lane to buy them this game. They're getting them all that gold, threatening those inhibitor towers, and you can see that as their game plan now. They're not interested in the full team fights. And I think Team Queso, without Andre, they have got an issue when it comes to forcing these engages, but they're going to start at the Baron.
Oh, not sure I agree with this one. They have zero vision down here at all, whereas Team Secret see everything. James goes in, does get a great knock-up on there. The stasis comes in for Ibu. What can he do about it? He's decimated, he's gone, absolutely destroyed. Asa getting focused on, but look what comes around the backside. Tatsuri has arrived, and that is danger, 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 Team Queso, as Tatsuri looks to clean up. Nowhere there for them to go, and that will be a 3-for-1, and almost certainly the Baron for Secret.
Tatsuri comes in, he cleans up the dregs of the team fight, but James was the real hero there. Another brilliant engage from him on this Rakan. Ibu caught out once more. Baron taken, and you can't help but feel with just how strong Tatsuri is. No one can match him in the 1v1. This will be the nail in the coffin for Team Queso. So look at James again. Just rounds them up like sheep in the middle of the team fight. Ibu forced to burn the spaces on top of Azar, who just waits for him to come out. And once Ibu is dead, the complete team fight is wiped up. It's completely split. You can see Ruiz absolutely killed off on the back line by Tatsuri, and Andre does his best there. But I was going to be honest with you, it's a bit of a rough one here for Team Queso.
Yeah, absolutely. We know it was a risky comp to come through to start with. Acolyte trying to help out and do what he can, but now Tatsuri is just an unstoppable machine as he runs on through the team. And it is another 4-0. Team Secret are going to romp themselves down mid and bot.
They needed a much stronger engage, I think, Team Queso. They relied on the Baron to make Team Secret come towards them, but Team Secret were happy to start up the 4v5 with that Renekton. This is surely going to be the first game in the bag here for Team Secret.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Risky, no escape, nothing they could do. And this will be Team Secret dominating game number 1 in the end. We said around about 10-12 minutes in, it was on a knife's edge, and it really was. It could have gone either way, but just a couple of indecisions, and Team Secret really, really punished. The second Tatsuri got going, once you saw